Survivor earned its way on the air. It didn't get on easily. Um, a young executive at the time named Gen Maynard, who was actually working in drama programming, came to see me and he said, I heard this idea, which I think is a terrific idea, and he basically pitched me in 30 seconds Survivor. And my first reaction was, that's the stupidest idea I ever heard. This is not a cable network. This doesn't belong on CBS. You're going to have 16 people on a desert island and one of them's going to get thrown off every week. But to his credit, he was very persistent. He really believed in this show. And it actually, in fairness to him, it took a lot of guts to keep coming to my office with an idea that I clearly was not responding to. But he actually ganged up on me. He got a couple of the other younger executives at CBS to say, that Survivor thing is pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. So he said, do me a favor, meet Mark Burnett. So Mark Burnett came in to see me, and Mark is one of the most charming guys you ever want to meet, and also a magnificent salesman. Now, I was a pretty good salesman, so it takes one to know one, but he was great. And he laid out the show from beginning to end. He basically, minute by minute, he put a picture in my mind, which is what anybody should do when they're pitching a show. When you're telling a story, paint the picture as clearly and with examples as you can. Anyway, Mark worked me through basically what the first episode of Survivor was, and it was very enthralling. And he also pitched me an idea that wasn't very common at the time, which was product placement. He said, look, I can do this and I can do it cheaply and I can go out and get advertisers, and this is how I'll do challenges, and if they win the challenge, they get a case of Budweiser or something like that. So basically they budgeted the show, and I said, okay, we'll try it in the summer if you can pay for it. So sure enough, Mark went out with our sales team, and I think they got 4 advertisers to put up $2.5 million each, and we ran it during the summer. We had a decision to make, and it started with Survivor. Okay, Survivor was on in the summer, big hit. Obviously, we ordered another Survivor. Goes on the air in February. Where are we putting it? Where are we putting it? When we had the discussions in October and November, suddenly we have this show. Survivor had been on Wednesday at 8. Then we had CSI, which launched in the fall, Fridays at 9. And it was, okay, we'll dominate Wednesday if we keep Survivor there. We're dominating Friday. And Kelly Call, who's head of scheduling, said, now's the time. We got to go after them. We're never going to have this opportunity again to put Survivor and CSI on Thursday night and finally bring down NBC, which is exactly what we did. It was a very gutsy move, because if it didn't work, we screwed up Wednesday night and we screwed up Friday night, and we still lost Thursday night. But suddenly Friends had a competitor. Survivor didn't beat Friends, but it did very, very well. And CSI began winning at 9 o'clock, and suddenly CBS was winning Thursday night for the first time in, I think it was 25 years. So it was a very significant moment. We didn't make a whole lot of money that first year, because it was basically, all right, let's cover your butt with this. Make sure the advertising dollars, it wasn't based on a ratings guarantee. It was sort of they're in for like a spot every single week, plus they get a product placement once or twice during the season. Anyway, the show was wildly successful right away. And, the rest is history. We went through a fairly ugly renegotiation with Mark, as often happens, during, at the end, I think, of Survivor 2. But, when it all worked out, we had a template for the rest of the Survivors, and we just ordered Survivors 14 and 15. And who would have thought it, Who would have thought there would ever be a Survivor 14 and 15, And we sort of laugh about it now, because Nancy Tellem reminded me recently when we were picking this up, how when we were in an arbitration with Mark, we had it on a blackboard, Survivor 10 or 11, and we laughed like, it's never going to get there. It's never going to happen. And, and here it is. It's lost a little of its steam, but it's still a top 10 show. So, we're not complaining about it. So I think the show was produced brilliantly. I think it was cast wonderfully.
reality
Casting
show.
was more fun, casting a reality show, than just about anything I've ever done. We did it right in this room. This is where we cast Survivor, where they still cast Survivor in all our reality shows. And it was really interesting seeing people coming in, talking to real people. It was even more interesting after it became successful because you got, initially we got a couple of hundred people applicants. Now it was up to like 50,000 or something like that who send in resumes and pictures and all that sort of thing. So it was trying to build the most drama through personality. It's not building through script, but building through personality. The first year, Richard Hatch, an outwardly gay man, with Rudy Bosch, who was a retired, the original Navy SEAL, who was very anti-gay, and putting these two guys on a team together and see what happens. Or in subsequent years, put, this 21-year-old mortician from the South, from Alabama or Mississippi, who really didn't like being around black people. Really her prejudice was on her sleeve, and having her there with black and seeing, it really was a game and a social experiment at the same time, and it's a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea, and it really was the forefront of Apprentice, Amazing Race, Big Brother, Dancing with the Stars. I mean, they all emanate. I think Survivor had a lot to do with, the success here in the States, certainly, of the reality genre.